Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be reviewing a 2015 Ford F-150 with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost and over 200,000 miles. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Ford here in Provo for giving me some time with this truck. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now for the 2015 model year, power outputs were a little bit less than what we have today, 365 horsepower and then 420 pound-feet of torque, but that's still strong. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the front end here, I really like this generation of F-150. Just the overall light design I think looks really cool. And then pretty simplistic with the grille. Got lots of chrome trim, fog lights, all of that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a pretty good looking truck. Now on the side here, our tire wheel set up to 265 by 70 by 17 in the front and over in the rear. You can see here with the wheels, you've got the silver finish there on the top, and this actually has some pretty decent all-terrain tires put on it. Those obviously aren't stock, right? Look at the fender flare, that's very interesting. XLT badge, you got the EcoBoost badge down below, and then you can see the fixed side steps here, and the 4x4 decal here on the back. And yeah, interesting to see the leaf springs and everything with this truck compared to the new ones. Here's the side profile with the F-150. And this leads us to the rear. So with the tailgate, you got to kind of really pull the latch. And then yeah, tailgate's not dampened, but we do have bed liner, which is always a nice thing. See the cargo tie-down points too, if you wanted to add those. But yeah, I guess that's the first thing I noticed with, and then also you can see some of the wear here on the tailgate. But yeah, that handle, definitely seen better days, right? Just a quick look at the taillights, and you can see with the parking sensors here. But I mean, overall, for a truck that has over 200,000 miles, this thing actually looks pretty good on the outside. And then inside, the XLT kind of has more of a basic interior. This is pretty cool with that trim piece. But yeah, this has also impressed me just how nice this interior is. Again, you got to remember, this is over 200,000 miles on the odometer. And this one's a Super Cruise, so you've got tons of room here in the back. And these cloth seats are pretty dang comfortable. And then headroom back here is also solid. Now take a look at the front door panel. They actually gave you some nice padding there. You see all of our window controls here. The mirrors, they are heated. This is what the payload was back then. 1,818 pounds. That's solid, if you ask me. And then the driver's seat's always going to have the most wear on a vehicle. And you can see just how well this has held up over the years. I think it's impressive. And then we've got the light controls there. And then steering wheel adjustment is manual. Of course, got a little flip out key that we got to put in the ignition here, but once you get that done, pretty simple. Now take a look at the steering wheel. You can see a little bit more basic with the material use. Got practical controls including cruise control, volume controls, all of that. And you can see the turn signal windshield wiper stock, and then we got a good old fashioned column shifter, a tow haul mode. It even has a sport mode as well. That's funny, press it twice for sport. And then look at this, when gauge clusters were still analog. But you do have this little screen there in the center that also shows you info. Now, we've got lots of little physical buttons for this tiny little radio. No backup camera with this. They weren't federally mandated back then, so didn't need to put one in. And then you can see with the analog controls for the volume, single zone climate with this as well. And then a little charging port area. And then this is interesting. So we've got a 2-speed transfer case, and then we also have a rear locking differential as well. And this one's got a bench seat center here. It's pretty cool. It's nice, 12 volt. And pretty big glove box. Got a little storage cubby there up above. And then no power sliding window or anything like that. We do have a sunglass holder though, which is always nice. And then obviously no sunroof for this. Now when it comes to pricing, well, this has over 200,000 miles, 218,000 miles. Right now it's priced at about $15,000 roughly. Check our website for the most up-to-date pricing, but let's see how this thing drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Over the hood. These mirrors are really good with the little convex mirror. With the rest of the rear, yeah, it's easy to see out of. So you'll notice again, no backup camera. Back in my day, we just looked over the rear seat to see where we were going. Right? So over 200,000 miles on this thing. You know, I remember when I was in car sales, 200,000 miles was almost always a death sentence for a car. It was like, if we got that traded in, we're sending it straight to auction, because usually the repairs, sorry, adjust this. Usually the repairs equaled more than at least half the value of the car, sometimes the entire value of the car. But yeah, these Ford EcoBoosts, seems like the ones that are in the mid 2010s seem to be pretty rock solid. I see a lot of these with really high mileage. And I think part of that is this 6-speed automatic's a good transmission. And then this was before they were trying to cram a ton of power into the EcoBoost. You know, 365 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque. I mean, that's still a powerful engine, but it's not the 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque that we have today, right? So this engine wasn't under as much stress. Man, this drives shockingly well for the mileage. I am impressed. It's not perfect. The steering does feel a little bit wishy-washy. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Let's see how this EcoBoost performs. Wow! It's got some power. And here's some tire noise. Interesting to see how much more sound deadening is in modern trucks compared to, I mean, this is less than 10 years old, but the new stuff has a lot more sound deadening. You can definitely hear the difference. Man, this drives better than I thought it would. I thought it was gonna be, yeah, I mean, the suspension's not nearly as good as the new ones. Yeah, kind of shake stuff a little bit. That's a feature, guys. That's a feature. No extra charge. Yeah, turning radius ain't bad either with the old ones. That is pretty sharp for a truck. Everyone at the Ford dealership to see me driving in circles. This is not bad at all. Man, if you just wanted to get like a somewhat more affordable work truck, this thing's good to go. It's already, and it's not like, I don't know, it's in pretty good condition, so it's not beat, I feel like it's not beat up enough to be like a super work truck, if that makes sense. Like, usually you want the truck to have a few battle scars so that when you add some more, it doesn't feel so bad. But yeah, this is impressive. So obviously, you know, with used cars, whoever owned this prior, that's gonna play a big part in terms of the condition of this car after 200,000 miles. You know, how often did they take it in for maintenancing? You know, did they crash it? All that kind of stuff. So all that plays into a used car, but still, EcoBoost with over 200,000 miles. I mean, I think this shows that, I mean, Ford had something figured out at this point. They definitely had something figured out. And I just did a video on talking about the new Tundra and how they're having their engines, that new turbo V6 they have, those engines are blowing up. And so it's like, man, you buy a new Tundra and you're gonna lose your engine after, you know, some people have been saying 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 miles is what I've been seeing on the forums. Whereas this thing, it's like, hey, it's a Ford, but 200,000 miles, it's more than those new Toyotas are going for, at least right now. We'll see what happens in the future. But let me know what you guys think about this truck. I'm pretty impressed. I didn't think that this truck would drive as well as it does, considering the mileage. You know, again, the suspension is not nearly as comfortable as the new one. You can tell that the shocks and everything have definitely seen better days, but for the mileage, this performs really well, and this interior is really nice. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't expect this truck to drive as well as it does with this mileage. I would expect the suspension to be way crashier, the steering to be way worse, and then the engine performance, like that engine just, it's right there. Let me know your thoughts.